Hey, my name is Elena, and this first question actually really kind of took me by surprise. I've never been asked this, but I took some good time to think about it, and ultimately, what I came up with was what I would abandon creatively is the notion that really all the students should be moving at the same pace. Art can kind of be fast paced, especially visual art, but it also takes a lot of time. And some students finish super early. With that comes a challenge of like, what are they going to do next? How do we keep them engaged and learning? And then some students maybe don't even get the chance to finish within the time they're given. I think I would let go of the notion that students need to all be learning at the same pace and really more so embrace each student's journey of learning at their own pace, because this is an online classroom environment. They're gonna have more time to really look at the materials and sit with them, especially with 90-minute classes. And I think that really, more so than trying to move a student along through an art project that they'll be doing, like our multimedia art project that they'll be working on, really giving them the time to absorb the information, to really retain everything. And with this, the deeper learning will happen. They have more time to look through everything and make something that is of better quality than if they were more so like pushed to keep going. While that is something I will do, I will also be a resource at all times to help all my students learn everything rather than just hearing the content, like really have the resources that they can access at any time and then also be a resource for them. So lately I've been having my students on kind of strict schedule, like by this day you should have this done, by this day you should have this done. But I was thinking about, with the multimedia design, giving maybe two big deadlines, like these projects are due on this date and I'm going to teach you how to manage your time to get these done by that time, and then have two kind of like big due dates that they can work at their own pace and ask all the questions they need so that they really retain all the information that they possibly can, so that they could even potentially teach somebody else how to do this. And with that, I feel like the learning is really happening, and this is really supporting my students by differentiating and accommodating to their unique and individual needs. And I've been somebody that takes a while to finish things as well, so I can really relate to them on that front. And I think if that sort of environment was provided for me, I think I could have learned and like really absorbed a lot more myself when I was learning at their age in school. I think I would just really embrace letting my students learn and ask questions more so at their own pace, but within a structured environment. For the second question about at-risk students and what does it really mean for these students to thrive and our role in making that happen, I think that most importantly, the students need to feel safe to express themselves, and the classroom community needs to feel like a really judgment-free zone where they can feel heard and valued and confident enough to take creative risks from what they've learned. I think when you see this sort of like transformation go on from being very unsure and maybe even unwilling to participate and share, a really beautiful thing happens where creativity blossoms, and being somebody that's encouraging in that space, in that safe space for them, will really help them to let go of any fears of trying new things, which is what art is all about. It's all about experimenting, be it physical art, like visual arts, what I've been teaching, or digital arts. There's a lot of room for creativity in both of these, and I think building those relationships with my students will also be a huge part. I would say that I was an at-risk student at the time I was in school, so I can completely relate to where they're at, maybe not on every single level, but I can understand their struggle of what it means to do school when you don't necessarily want to, or when you're not feeling so motivated. So I think it's just important to provide this space and form this trust so that the whole class can feel like a space where students can collaborate, share ideas, and be themselves ultimately, and express that in a way to where I can give them constructive feedback and tips and tricks, while also making sure to keep up the positivity and the compliments and all these things that will ultimately make them thrive. For the third question about the success criteria of academically at-risk students, I think that when you really see the students engaged in the work and also having a willingness to take risks and try new things out, as well as take feedback to then revise their work, I think these are some huge successes that these specific students have. It's a very big motivation when students can really take ownership and feeling really good about what they made. It's a very deep impact that it's having on them and that they're experiencing, which will make them really want to learn more and will keep them going with their deeper learning. These type of small or larger successes help students be empowered and give them something to hope for. It helps them have a new perspective on learning as something that will help them succeed and help them feel a really good and fulfilled way, rather than looking at learning as something that is bogging them down or not giving them the chance to show their creativity and show who they really are as their unique individual selves. There's a few ways that this can be supported for these students, and that is with culturally responsive teaching, scaffolding, and just being really mindful of all the nuances that students may have during the process of teaching them, and observing how they absorb and take in all the information you're giving them. I think consistency, being adaptable, various circumstances and needs are key in this process and will help any at-risk students really thrive and put forward their best effort in all they do. So this last question is a really interesting and fun question, because the book I've been reading lately is called Dawn by this amazing science fiction writer named Octavia Butler, and it is about this alien race that has been observing Earth for a long time, and humans end up getting into a huge nuclear war and pretty much destroying themselves. But luckily, this alien race has been watching them and kind of predicted that this was going to happen. And when the Earth was basically being destroyed by human beings through this huge world war that was happening, these aliens came in and they took a select amount of people. So they put these people into a really deep sleep for centuries, for a long time, and they began to rebuild the Earth. So this alien species is a species that believes in survival and evolution through biological merging, because they can alter the genetics and imbue their genetics into the human's genetics. And oddly enough, this kind of had me a bit torn, because on one side of the coin, these aliens came in and were essentially saving the human race. They took some select few people that they thought would be good to repopulate the earth anew once they rebuilt it with their own biology. But on the other hand, they put these people in a very deep sleep for a really long amount of time. And when the humans woke up, Lilith is the main character. They're very disoriented, very confused. Obviously, they did not know what was going on, just kind of trapped in a room. And it got me thinking, like, are these aliens actually doing good by keeping these people and merging their biology with them, since they saved the earth after all? Or are they kind of using what they think of as survival and something to evolve as more so a way of control and keeping these people contained in the way they think things should be? And this is actually a pretty interesting parallel with education, because school can sometimes feel really restrictive to students, especially when they can't directly see those long-term benefits of it, and when they have to do the stuff that they feel like they don't want to do and don't want to be a part of. But what feels like control sometimes in the education setting can actually be a path to freedom, to more opportunity, to places that they never would have thought of without it. And as educators, we have this really huge responsibility to empower, not just to guide our students, to really make them know that there are ways of progressing and excelling in the world out there that school opens their eyes and minds to. We give them opportunities for a bigger vision for their futures. And I thought this aligned so well together that I just really had to mention this amazing book I've been reading.